Luis had been living aboard the Harmony Station for exactly 3 months when he learned that not all galactic misunderstandings involved weapons or territory. Sometimes they involved dairy products. The station orbited a neutral zone between 5 different species' territories, a monument to interspecies cooperation that housed over 10,000 beings from across the galaxy. Luis worked in the agricultural sector, maintaining the hydroponic gardens that fed the station's diverse population. It was honest work, and it kept him away from the politics that seemed to consume everyone else. His neighbor was a feline named Eva, a species that humans had nicknamed cat girls for obvious reasons. She stood barely 4 feet tall with soft gray fur, enormous amber eyes, and ears that swiveled independently. The feline were known throughout the galaxy as exceptional engineers, their small size and natural agility making them perfect for working in tight spaces aboard starships. Eva lived in the HAB unit next to his, and for 3 months their interactions had been limited to polite nods in the corridor. The feline were notoriously shy around larger species, and Luis respected her space. That changed on a Tuesday evening, or what passed for Tuesday on a station that never saw natural day or a night. Luis was returning from his shift when he heard a small voice from Eva's doorway. "Excuse me, human Luis?" He turned to find Eva standing in her threshold, her tail twitching nervously behind her. "Yes, is everything all right?" She paused, her ears flattening slightly. "I need milk. Do you have any?" Luis blinked. The station's food synthesizers could produce anything, but sometimes they malfunctioned. "Sure, give me a minute." He disappeared into his quarters and returned with a carton of milk from his cold storage, genuine Earth-produced dairy, a luxury he'd brought with him from home. He held it out proudly. Eva stared at the carton. Her ears went flat against her skull, her tail puffed up to twice its normal size. What is that?" she hissed. Luis looked at the carton, confused. "Milk? You asked for milk. That is not milk." Eva's voice rose to a pitch that made Luis wince. Is that from an animal?" "Well, yes. It's from cows. That's what milk is." Eva's face went through several expressions: confusion, horror, and finally indignation. "You humans are impossible." She threw her hands up, nearly losing her balance. "When a feline asks for milk, they mean companion milk. The bonding ritual, not secretions from some farm beast." Luis felt his face heating up. Wait, what?" Eva's anger seemed to deflate as quickly as it had appeared, replaced by embarrassment. She wrapped her tail around herself, a gesture Luis had learned meant acute discomfort. "You truly did not know?" "Know what?" She sighed, a sound like wind through grass. "Among feline, asking a neighbor for milk is an invitation to bond, to become family in a way. We share our own milk, synthesized from our own genetic template as a sign of trust and friendship." Luis set the carton down carefully. His xenoanthropology training had clearly left out some crucial details. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea." "Of course you didn't," Eva said quietly. Her ears perked up slightly. "Your species is new to the galaxy. Only 60 years since contact. There is much you cannot know yet. Can you explain it to me?" Eva hesitated, then nodded. She gestured into her HAB unit. "Come, I will make tea. Real tea, not your Earth variant. And I will explain why I thought you were either very brave or very rude." Over the next hour, Luis learned more about feline culture than he'd absorbed in 3 months of living next to Eva. The milk ritual, she explained, dated back to their species' early evolution. In the wild, feline formed small family groups called kindles, and sharing milk, a precious resource in their harsh home world, signified the closest bonds of trust. "So when I brought you cow milk," Luis said slowly. "I thought you were mocking me," Eva finished, "or that you were so ignorant of basic galactic etiquette that you might accidentally cause an interstellar incident." She paused. "Though now I see it was simply humans being human. What does that mean?" Eva's whiskers twitched in what Luis had learned was amusement. "You humans are famous across the stations. You take everything literally. You document everything obsessively, and you somehow make friends with species that have been enemies for centuries, simply because you don't know you're supposed to hate each other." Luis laughed. "That does sound like us. When I asked for milk," Eva continued, "I was trying to be brave. Feline do not often invite others into their kindles, especially not aliens. But you have been a good neighbor. Quiet, respectful. You leave offerings of plants outside my door from your gardens." "Those were offerings?" Louise said, surprised. "I just thought you might like fresh basil. You kept looking at the plants when you passed by the agricultural sector." Eva's ears drooped. "See? You didn't even know you were following our courtship, no, friendship rituals. You simply observed and acted with kindness." She stood and moved to her small kitchen unit. From a secure cooling chamber, she withdrew a crystalline bottle filled with an opalescent liquid. "This is my milk, my genetic template synthesized last month. If you wish to accept my invitation to become kindlekin, you would drink and I would drink what you offer in return." Louise considered carefully. This wasn't just about milk anymore. This was about bridging two species, two cultures, two ways of seeing the universe. "I don't have human milk to offer," he said, "but I have something else." He pulled out his communicator and tapped a message. "Give me 1 day. Can you wait?" Eva's ears perked forward with curiosity. "I can wait." The next evening, Louise returned to Eva's door with a container. Inside was a carefully prepared drink. Warm milk, synthesized human DNA milk from the medical bay, which he'd had to convince 3 different doctors to produce, mixed with honey, cinnamon, and vanilla. "In human culture," Louise explained, "when we welcome someone into our family, we share food from our childhood. This is golden milk. My grandmother made it for me when I was young. It means home. It means safety. It means you belong." Eva took the container with both hands, her eyes wide. "You made your own milk?" "For this?" "For Kindle," Louise corrected, using her word. They drank together, the strange human and the tiny feline, creating something new in the darkness between stars. Later, Eva would tell other feline about the human who didn't understand milk, and Louise would tell other humans about reading between the lines of alien customs. But in that moment, they simply sat together, 2 neighbors who had become something more, proving once again that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability. It was their willingness to try.